4 home runs. That alone would have been enough to make Shohei Ohtani the biggest story of the night. But nobody inside the stadium was prepared for what happened after the 4th. Because when everyone expected Ohtani to simply walk back to the dugout and celebrate another unbelievable home run, he did something completely different. He ran, not around the bases after a home run, not toward the dugout. He ran toward home plate, and suddenly, the entire stadium realized they were watching something nobody had expected. But before that unbelievable moment, there were 4 home runs, and every single one made the story bigger. It started with the first inning. Ohtani walked toward the batter's box as the crowd erupted. The pitcher looked toward the catcher, received the sign, and prepared for the first battle of the afternoon. The first pitch came inside. Ohtani watched it carefully. The next pitch was a breaking ball, strike 1. Then came a fastball right over the plate. Ohtani's eyes locked onto it. His front foot landed, his hands fired. Crack! The baseball launched toward deep right field. The outfielder turned immediately. The crowd rose. The ball kept carrying, and then it disappeared over the wall. Home run. The stadium exploded. Ohtani calmly rounded the bases as the Dodgers dugout celebrated behind him. 1 at bat, 1 home run, and already the opposing pitcher knew he had a serious problem. But the second at bat was even more dramatic. The pitcher changed his approach. He stayed away from the middle of the plate. Low pitch. Outside pitch. Breaking ball. Ohtani refused to chase. The count became full. The pitcher finally decided to challenge him. Fastball. Ohtani turned on it. Crack. This one went toward left field. The outfielder ran toward the wall, but he never had a chance. The baseball disappeared into the seats. Second home run. The stadium erupted again. 2 home runs, 2 different parts of the ballpark. And now the opposing dugout was starting to panic. The manager walked toward the mound. He spoke with his pitcher. The message was obvious. Do not give Ohtani another mistake. But stopping Ohtani was becoming easier said than done. The third at-bat arrived several innings later. By now, fans were standing before Ohtani even reached the plate. They knew something unusual was happening. The first pitch came outside. Ball 1. The second pitch was a slider. Ohtani watched it. Strike 1. Another fastball arrived. Ohtani fouled it away. The count became dangerous. The pitcher had one opportunity to finish the at-bat. He threw a breaking pitch. Ohtani waited, then attacked. Crack. The ball launched toward center field. The center fielder sprinted back. The crowd became louder. The baseball kept traveling. The outfielder reached the warning track, then stopped. The ball was gone. Third home run. The stadium went completely insane. 3 home runs, 3 different swings. And Ohtani had transformed the game into his personal highlight reel. The Dodgers dugout was standing. Teammates were laughing. Fans were chanting his name. The commentators could barely control their excitement. 3 home runs. Shohei Ohtani is putting on an unbelievable show. But the biggest moment was still coming. Because late in the game, Ohtani came to the plate again. The opposing pitcher looked exhausted. The defense shifted. The crowd knew exactly what they wanted. Another home run. Ohtani stepped into the box. The first pitch came low. Ball 1. The second pitch came inside. Ohtani fouled it away. The pitcher changed speeds. Ohtani waited. Then came the fastball. Ohtani swung. Crack. The baseball launched high into the night. The outfielder turned. The crowd exploded before the ball even landed. It kept carrying and carrying until it disappeared over the wall. 4th home run. The stadium was chaos. Fans were jumping. Teammates were screaming. The opposing players stood in disbelief. Ohtani had just hit 4 home runs in the same game. 4. The scoreboard flashed his unbelievable numbers. The entire stadium was chanting his name. And everyone thought the story was finished. But it wasn't. Because after Ohtani reached home plate, he looked toward the dugout, then toward the field, and something unexpected happened. the Dodgers suddenly had another opportunity. The opposing defense was focused on the next batter. Ohtani was already on base again. The pitcher delivered. The batter made contact. The ball rolled toward the infield. Ohtani took off. He reached third, then stopped. For a moment, everyone expected him to stay there. But Ohtani looked toward home. The third base coach gave a signal. And suddenly, Ohtani started running. The crowd screamed. He was going for home. A steal of home. The catcher jumped up. The pitcher turned. The entire stadium stood. Ohtani was racing toward the plate. The throw was coming, and the entire game was about to explode into its final unbelievable moment. Ohtani was racing toward home plate, and for a moment, the entire stadium seemed to stop breathing. The catcher was already moving into position, the pitcher had turned toward the plate, and the baseball was flying through the air. Ohtani had already hit 4 home runs in the game, but now he was attempting something completely different. He was trying to steal home. The throw arrived just as Ohtani approached the plate. The catcher reached forward with his glove and tried to make the tag. Ohtani slid underneath the tag, extending his hand toward home plate. For one terrifying second, nobody knew the result. The umpire watched carefully, then his arms went wide. Safe. The stadium exploded. Fans jumped out of their seats. Teammates rushed toward home plate. The Dodgers dugout erupted as Ohtani stood up from the dirt and looked toward the crowd. 4 home runs, and now a stolen home. It was the kind of sequence that sounded impossible, even when people had just watched it happen. Ohtani's teammates surrounded him, laughing and celebrating. Some players couldn't believe what they had just witnessed. The crowd continued chanting his name while the giant video board replayed the steal from multiple angles. The replay showed Ohtani's speed, his perfectly timed decision, and the incredible slide that allowed him to beat the tag by the smallest possible margin. But the most fascinating part of the moment was that nobody had expected it. The entire stadium had been waiting for another home run. Ohtani had already delivered 4. Everyone assumed the next big moment would come from another swing. Instead, he changed the game with his legs. That was what made the performance so memorable. It wasn't just about power. It was about athleticism, awareness, timing, and the confidence to take an opportunity when it appeared. Television commentators immediately began analyzing the play. One described the sequence as unbelievable. Another pointed out that most players would have stayed safely at third base after hitting 4 home runs. Ohtani saw something different. He recognized that the defense wasn't prepared for the aggressive move, and he took the chance. After the final out, fans continued talking about the sequence as they made their way toward the exits. Some were still replaying the 4th home run on their phones. Others were showing friends the stolen home footage. Children in Dodgers jerseys tried to imitate Ohtani's slide, while their parents laughed. That's what makes Shohei Ohtani such a fascinating player in this cinematic story. He isn't limited to one part of baseball. He can change a game with his bat, create pressure with his speed, and turn an ordinary moment into something fans remember. The performance began with 1 home run, then came another, then a 4th. And when everyone thought the show was finally over, Ohtani stole home. 4 home runs and a stolen home in one unforgettable afternoon. The crowd had come expecting baseball. They left with a story they would tell their friends, a story children would remember, a story that would live in highlight reels for years. And perhaps the most incredible part was how unpredictable it all was. Nobody could have planned the exact sequence. Nobody could have known that 4 home runs would be followed by a stolen home. But that's the beauty of cinematic baseball stories. The biggest moments often happen when nobody expects them. If you enjoyed this unbelievable Shohei Ohtani story, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more legendary baseball performances, dramatic home runs, incredible comebacks, and unforgettable MLB stories. And now tell us, which moment was more unbelievable, the 4th home run or Ohtani stealing home? Drop your answer in the comments below.